Marcus Smart has just shocked the NBA world by joining the Los Angeles Lakers in a deal that feels less like a trade and more like a cultural earthquake in the Western Conference, especially when you look at what's behind the scenes, because this isn't your average off-season move. After negotiating a buyout with the Washington Wizards, Smart agreed to a 2-year, $11 million deal, immediately shifting the title conversation. And here's where things get real. This signing isn't just about stats. It's about impact. Smart isn't a flashy scorer, he's a floor general, a defensive predator, and an emotional heartbeat of any team he joins, and that's exactly what the Lakers need after an underwhelming playoff run where leadership and perimeter defense became glaring issues. Now picture Smart hounding top guards like Jamal Murray or Kyrie Irving in the playoffs while giving LeBron and Anthony Davis some breathing space defensively. That's the kind of grit you can't coach, and even though Smart averaged just 9 points per game last season with Memphis, his presence was always larger than the box score, because what he brings, defensive switchability, high IQ playmaking, and fearless hustle, fits perfectly in LA's system, and that's not just speculation, because Luka Doncic himself reportedly called Smart personally to recruit him before the Lakers' deal was finalized, proving how highly he's regarded among today's superstars. And while Luka didn't get his wish, the Lakers did, and they're smiling, because Smart doesn't just fill a hole, he changes their personality. Imagine Darvingham drawing up a closing lineup featuring LeBron, AD, Smart, Reeves, and Rui. Suddenly you've got balance, length, toughness, and versatility on both ends of the court, and this becomes even more dangerous when you factor in Smart's playoff pedigree, having made deep runs with Boston, including a trip to the NBA Finals, where he earned the respect of legends for diving for every loose ball, taking charges, trash-talking opponents, and holding his teammates accountable. And it's not just talk. He's the 2022 Defensive Player of the Year for a reason, the first guard in over 2 decades to win that award, and that puts him in elite company alongside Gary Payton, Sidney Moncrief, and Michael Cooper, all known for changing games without needing to light up the scoreboard. Now, why did Washington let him go? It's simple. They're rebuilding, clearing cap space, and Smart, who struggled with injuries last season, became expendable. But the Lakers pounced, using their biannual exception to get a player who could start or come off the bench depending on matchup needs. And let's be clear, this is not a luxury signing, it's a necessity, especially with the Western Conference looking brutal again this year. Denver's still a threat, Minnesota's ascending. The Warriors are reloading, and the Clippers, despite their injury concerns, always have firepower. So if the Lakers want to make a real push in what could be LeBron's final seasons, they need more than talent. They need identity, and Marcus Smart brings just that, with a kind of energy that wakes up a sleepy February roster and turns locker rooms into war rooms. But of course, this deal means someone has to go, and reports suggest Shake Milton or Jordan Goodwin may be waived to create space, which stings for depth, but the upside far outweighs the loss, especially if Smart stays healthy and gets back to his peak form, because when he's right, he's a game wrecker, the kind of guy who can spark a 10-0 run with a single steal, a fast break assist, and a corner 3, all in the span of 90 seconds, and suddenly the crowd's going wild, the bench is standing, and the Lakers feel alive. But this isn't just about on-court performance, it's about culture, and Smart is one of the most respected voices in the league when it comes to effort and accountability, someone who's never afraid to challenge stars if it means winning. He did it with Tatum and Brown, and he'll do it with LeBron and AD if needed, which is why this move feels like more than just an acquisition. It's a message from Rob Pelinka and the front office that they're not waiting for other teams to collapse. They're actively building a roster that can dictate terms in the postseason, and if that's not enough drama, add this. Celtics fans are still bitter, with Bill Simmons reportedly reacting with just 6 stunned words when Smart signed with LA, because for years, Smart was their heartbeat, and seeing him in purple and gold stings in a way that no stat can measure, but that emotion fuels rivalries, and this move adds more spice to every future Celtics-Lakers clash, especially if they meet in the finals. Imagine the headlines, the intensity, the narratives, and don't overlook the mentorship value either, because younger Lakers like Max Christie and Jalen Hood Skiffino will learn what it means to play with edge and intelligence every night, which could accelerate their development while giving the team more rotational flexibility during grueling road trips or back-to-backs. And if you're thinking this all hinges on Smart staying healthy, you're right. But even a 75% version of Marcus Smart adds more value than most role players in the league, because his motor, vision, and sheer competitiveness are unmatched, and as the Lakers evaluate how to best integrate him into their schemes, whether he starts next to D'Angelo Russell or becomes the sixth-man glue that ties multiple rotations together, they'll be leaning on his experience, and given that he's played in over 100 playoff games, including conference finals and NBA final showdowns, he knows exactly how to survive and thrive when the game slows down and every possession matters. And that could be the ultimate X factor when the postseason arrives, because as great as LeBron and AD are, they need someone who can fill the gap when momentum stalls, who can bring energy when the legs get tired, and who can check the opponent's best guard without asking for help. And that's exactly what Marcus Smart does, and it's why every true basketball fan knows this signing might just be the most underrated move of the 2025 NBA offseason. So if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss how this piece fits into the larger Lakers puzzle, one that's slowly but surely coming together to mount one final, glorious run for the King. And if it all clicks, if chemistry, health, and hunger align, then Smart won't just be remembered as a former Celtic who found a new home, he'll be seen as the spark that lit the fuse for one last Lakers championship. And that's why this story matters, not just for Lakers fans, but for every basketball lover who knows that titles aren't just won with talent, they're earned with grit, sacrifice, and the kind of unbreakable mindset that Marcus Smart has carried with him his entire career, and now he brings that fire to Hollywood.